bit about, well, two projects. One is the station project that's eventually going to be Lib's Grill, and then our streetscaping efforts. Let's do streetscaping first. On the south end of Main Street. So the town just bid this project. Council just approved, a $2.5 million allocation to do work on the south end. And here is, I guess, an overview of what we're planning. No, it's not super clear on the TVs. I'll zoom in here in a second, but just to give you kind of orientation. This is the main intersection at Main Street, Sandusky Road, and Oklahoma. So this is the French Twist building. So this is Baldwin Drive. And then down here is the parking lot in front of Sykesville Station. Everything you see kind of in red is pavers. Everything you see in kind of a darker gray shade would be concrete. And then here, because you're in state right-of-way, they don't like pavers in their right-of-way, so both of these squares are stamped concrete squares.
It's currently blacktop?
It's currently all asphalt right now.
I do want to just real quickly, Matt did reach out to me. He said he can be here in 5 minutes to get a quorum. So just FYI.
Should we wait? So is this a beautification project is the goal?
Yeah, this is just beautification. Beautification and expansion of, let's just call it pedestrian-friendly areas. So I'll zoom in here just so we can get a little bit better look of certain spots. So again, main intersection, we're expanding the sidewalks here on the south end. So right now there are 4 parking spaces right here. We want to eliminate those just because, well, mainly because they're unsafe backing out into an intersection. But again, also give a much wider sidewalk to have more pedestrian type events, a little bit more area for Christmas trees, a lot of things that you could do right there on the corner if you had a lot more space. So beautified this by bumping this corner out. We can realign this intersection a little bit so that it kind of squares itself up. If you look at the crosswalk areas now, you can see they're kind of weird diagonals, and actually the shortest area is going from this intersection across to this. So again, we just want to square that up a little bit and make it a little more uniform. We're bumping the sidewalks out into Main Street on both the east and west sides here on the northern side of that intersection. Right now the sidewalks are about right there, so you can kind of see on each side of these. By reducing this, obviously it reduces the length of travel for a pedestrian if you're crossing the road, but by actually bumping these sidewalks out, if you're approaching the intersection from Sandusky, it allows the approaching car to extend into the intersection a little bit further than they could today to hopefully increase line of sight, particularly to the south, to see that traffic coming. So again, that's both a line of sight improvement and a pedestrian improvement right there in the main intersection.
What about the corner next to the
this one? Yeah, this was tough just because the building is where it is. It might improve slightly because again, we are bumping this out, so cars will be able to pull forward a little bit further than they are now. But because that building is so close to that corner, there's just not a lot we can do there.
Is your plan to put like a mirror up or anything across the road so you can have?
Not right now. Yeah, it's basically the condition that it is today. I was going to say, this one will be improved. This one is probably going to be improved at least a little bit, but like I said, with that building right where it is, you can't see through the building. With Oklahoma Avenue, so again, all of this would be a different, I guess let's just call it application on the travel lanes. Again, the idea here is to make it seem a lot different than, say, a Main Street or a Sandusky Road, so that when we have events or we want to close that area down, it's very clear that it's a pedestrian area. It's actually one of the more narrow areas in town. Again, for any event that we have, that is usually an area that's closed off. So again, we just want anybody that's driving through there to know that this is a different area. So again, it just naturally slows cars down when you have a little bit of a different application there.
Where's the stamped concrete?
Stamped concrete is this main intersection.
Okay, and that's blacktop below, and then blacktop.
This would be blacktop, stamped concrete, and then pavers all through there.
So Joe's just giving the updates for the town projects, and then we'll get into the agenda.
We'll do the real meeting later. So in front of the French Twist, again, bumping the sidewalks out in front of there to again square up this intersection a little bit better. and then give kind of a defining feature for, I guess, entering this more pedestrian-friendly zone, improving the areas around the town visitor center. If anybody's walked down there in the last, I don't know, decade, a lot of the pavers have shifted and popped up. So again, we want to beautify that area. And then here at Fountain Park, really we just want to redefine, well, actually define, not redefine, but define Baldwin Drive. So right now Baldwin Drive feels like it's really just a part of the parking lot to the south. This would add sidewalks, curb and gutter, parallel parking, proper parallel parking along Baldwin Drive, so that it does in fact feel like a real street in town. One of the features we're adding here is that old railroad spur. That is, I guess some of it's still there, some of it's not. It's kind of hodgepodge right now. We actually want to make that a feature that goes the full length through through Fountain Park. There's an existing area that's still where the firehouse is, and then it continues all the way through Main Street, all the way over to the other side of Main Street where the Vine and the distillery are. Again, that would all be paver application there. Let's see here. The parking lot, so we are closing one of the existing accesses into the parking lot off of Main Street, so you would have to turn onto Baldwin Drive to get into the new parking lot. The main entrance for the parking lot would actually be this area to the, what's that, west. Because again, just the way the new parking lot will be designed, it is angled parking, but it would be more of a loop feature to kind of go through the parking lot. This would only be an exit, just given its location close to the intersection there. But again, a complete redesign of the parking lot. The goal eventually will be to expand the parking lot to the west even more once we can, I guess, access this lot over here. It is town owned, but it is currently leased by Southern States Farm and Home folks.
What's it do to the parking count?
What's that?
What's it do to the parking count?
Oh, we lose spaces. It's I want to say net. What did I say? 8.
Said 8, yeah. That's assuming that the 4 on the street are gone
Right, up at the main intersection.
at the main intersection.
Yeah.
So the station, Baldwin Station owns none of that? Or,
The town owns the station.
Yeah, the town owns all of this down here.
okay, so when that opens up, where does that parking go?
Well, I mean, they would still utilize this parking.
It's the same thing as
This
Bex.
parking
Bex
lot.
doesn't own the parking area
Right, but Bex has a ton behind it.
either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this-
they
we
think
just-
they own
We
it.
just lost half of, yeah, no, I get it, but, yeah, I
I
get it.
mean, it's not too bad to get from by the French Twist over to the station, unless it's a cold.
Got the parallel park in there too that's new.
Yeah, I mean, some of the spaces that were down here are being relocated here. Again, it's a net loss, but it's not half.
It's only,
Moving to the east, so again, stamped concrete intersection here, new intersection, making it more, again, pedestrian friendly. So one of the things that the town has noticed is obviously all of the music events that the Vine and the distillery put on down here. We wanted to make sure that that was something that could continue, and also continue in a way that was safer than it is today. So again, we wanted to make it clear that this is an area where pedestrians would be crossing back and forth. We wanted to expand the sidewalks here in front of the distillery building just to give a little more space for tables and chairs and whatever else might be necessary.
Joe, is there gonna be parking in front of the other building there?
This one,
Yeah,
It's too narrow.
right, that's what I thought, but.
I thought didn't they show a parking space or two potentially right here?
They did show that they had room for parking on the front.
Yeah,
Um,
like right along here.
yeah.
So again, this design doesn't go into like
Yeah.
everybody's lot and specifically show like where their parking is going to be. This is just the areas that we're disturbing.
Who's doing this? Is this competitive bid?
Yes, well, it was. Yeah,
So it's been awarded,
yeah. BGC got the award.
and you guys are happy with them? I mean, like, have you done work with them in the past? And
We have.
just hopefully they're better than Springfield people.
Well, yeah, and BGC they're just a general contractor. So again, they'll submit the subs. Yeah, none of the subs are the people that we've seen on
Whatever
Springfield.
happened to this doesn't entail anything to deal with the bridge then as you move further down.
No, the
But that was
bridge.
talked about before, right?
It's
It was-
still being talked about. Unfortunately, that's several years away from design.
because that would help with the parking allocation across
Absolutely. Yeah.
the walk across there.
So one of the things, and again, this isn't, if anybody's actually watching, this is just something that we've talked about. It's not actually in the plans, but we've talked to SHA about the bridge itself, and they've made it clear that the design is going to take, you know, between 3 and 5 years to get that done. So again, it's like we don't really want to wait that long. So there's things being talked about now. It's like, oh, maybe we can just improve a pedestrian bridge that goes across and just leave the SHA bridge right where it is, but then add a pedestrian bridge somewhere else that would make it. But it's like,
Cost of those.
I mean, it's not as expensive as, you know, the vehicular bridge, but again, I don't know why it takes 3 to 5 years to get a bridge designed, but they're paying for it, so I can't complain. That's most of the project. Along Main Street, moving north from that southern intersection is really just updating the sidewalks. There's not a lot of expansion of sidewalks that we can do just because the right-of-way is as narrow as it is. We'll push out as much as we can, but state requires it to be, 12-foot travel lanes.
Does that eliminate all the parking spots in front of Beck's? I don't see any there. On the right-hand side? No.
Well, no, this isn't. This is that's the distillery
We're up all the way.
down here. So there's a existing pinch point right here by the. Yeah. So again, we'll try to expand it as much as we can, but we got to keep that. We got to keep those travel lanes, as wide as we can. But yeah, the parking along Main Street, like to the north of the intersection, won't change. Any parking behind Beck's or the Sandusky lot that the town owns, none of that's changing.
What's the anticipated timeline for this?
We put a 6-month time frame on it once we give notice to proceed. So we're hoping, let's just say our engineers and the contractor are working out some things because the bids came in a little higher than we expected. So it's like there might be, a couple material changes, or it might be phased so that maybe we start with that southern intersection, work up Baldwin, and when we run out of money, we just kind of stop wherever we have to.
Promise Springfield's done before this.
Yes, I can promise Springfield will be done
Capacity you want to
before this starts or before this is done, because that's
They could be finished tonight.
It sounds like it might be. Yeah.
One thing to touch on, if I can find it quickly, is just some of the furniture, street pole, or lighting, things like that. Again, standard lighting package for what you see kind of in the neighborhoods around town. Nothing out of the ordinary here. And then the benches, again, a pretty standard. We're thinking, black bench, metal slats that are there. Pretty kind of a standard, street furniture, trash cans.
Is that like polywood slats in it, or is it wood?
Metal?
Metal.
Yeah, flat bar. Yeah. So that's that project. Unless anybody has any questions about that. The next is the station building itself. So these plans are still under development. So we'll talk in generalities about materials, but for the most part, this is the existing station. Nothing is really changing to the exterior of the historic structure, but you will see a pretty significant change to the kitchen building. So the existing kitchen addition that's on the structure, which was built in the early 90s, is going to come off completely, and they're going to build a much larger commercial kitchen on the structure. In all likelihood, it's probably like a hardy plank kind of finish. Architectural shingle on the roof here. Nothing's going to change here. It's still going to be slate roof. Nothing's changing on the front, like I said, of the historic structure. This is the existing freight room doors. They don't show up here on the picture, but they're the original doors that are there are going to stay. It just looks like this. The SketchUp just didn't show up on this.
So that's what's proposed for the kitchen?
Yeah, at least the size wise.
Thought the SketchUp doesn't do.
It doesn't do it
any
justice.
favors, yeah.
I thought the drawings had the roof being standing seam
On the
on the new kitchen too, I thought.
not on the kitchen.
Was that just on the side of the building?
It's just on the here, and
Okay.
so that's the biggest feature that you'll see, obviously, from the parking lot. Like you'll obviously see the much bigger kitchen from the actual platform. So if you're coming across the bridge from Howard County into Carroll, there's going to be an addition, not an addition. There's going to be like the enclosure of the back platform. So that's this area here. So it's basically the size of the existing platform. Matter of fact, it extends a little bit further to the west. But again, they want to be able to use that year round and make it nicer than the, let's just call it the fabric roll down sheeting that's up there now. And then this is the metal roof that you're talking about. So how they're going to attach that to the building is going to be
So they're like that's like a 3-season room where they could open up the windows?
correct. Yep. And I had the windows that were proposed. I can find that again. Nano wood accordion windows. Does that mean anything to the?
No way. Nano walls.
They're not good.
That'll,
They're not
that'll
good
be
with
neat.
Is that overkill?
Can't afford that.
Okay.
No one can.
Not that many
I've
of
had $200 million projects at BE Nano.
I mean, we use them, but like,
Yeah.
not that many of them.
That's good to know.
I
What
think
they
that was
say?
Fred.
It says now.
I mean, that's what it says.
So I was talking to Fred and he said that he had talked to Dante about it, trying to do that so that they weren't fixed panels in case of.
Yeah, they're accordion doors basically, but they cost an arm and a leg, especially for that kind of setting.
Yeah, I mean, a 16-foot opening for that it's not cheap. Plus, you need a lot of steel above that to support it,
Yeah.
because they're hung.
Write that down.
Just out of curiosity too, it looks like originally there was a plan to bring the roof up, right, on
Yeah,
that
it's
platform,
not.
and now it's gonna be lower,
Correct.
right? So now you're losing that ability to kind of set it on the structure to hold it up. You're kind of anchoring it under the
Right.
the
So
eaves.
yeah, they have to anchor it on
Yeah.
both sides. So there's going to be posts or pillars or whatever the technical term is for where the one end of the roof is, and then they're going to have to build up this a little bit as well to make sure it can hold whatever windows
Right.
they choose to pick.
So they're gonna pour a whole new slab there, right?
Footers. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not going to be a whole new slab, but it'll be
Okay.
it'll be
Right.
footers.
Yeah.
Footers.
You know, everything.
Because that's a lot different weight than.
Yeah.
It's just a spread
All the
footing.
way across. Wait, also the nano wall has the ability to throw a little structure underneath too if they want to throw a little above and below on it, I guess. But yeah, there's no way. But I like it. It would look
Good
great.
luck.
It would look good if they do
It
it.
would look great. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. We'll keep that in mind when I'm talking to the folks at the restaurant. Let me see if there's anything else that I need to point out. So again, I mean that's the biggest change is obviously the enclosure of that back platform area, and then the addition of the kitchen. So right now that kitchen only comes out to say like this area, so they're almost doubling the size.
So you're losing parking spots because of that as well.
Yeah, I think the net loss was only between 2 and 4 spaces until we had to eliminate kind of that line right.
That's
where
such a
it's
shame
commercial.
because the previous people expanded that area a
Yeah.
little bit. Because we approved the expansion of that back.
Right,
area.
it's like a cooler or something,
Yeah.
didn't they? Like a walk-in freezer.
Yeah, that was rough. That was this.
Yeah.
That got expanded. This is existing. So yeah, they're still working on finalizing specific materials. Again, this is just a update to you guys to know that eventually it's coming, and it will be something for you to approve.
Eventually.
But as we were getting closer and closer to hopefully being done a design, we want to at least give you all a heads up.
Okay.
I don't know about the color yet, so it's not going to be blue. I know that.
Did we get colors approved yet before that meeting? We were talking about.
Well, that you
Don't like
can,
the across the street there.
You got the blue and yellow.
that you can determine.
Blue and gold
Town
is, I
owns
mean,
the
that's
building,
not
right?
that's not
Gold,
terrible.
it's not yellow.
I'll take WU colors any day.
There
Yeah,
you go. She's like, oh, you'll love it. It pops.
All right.
Thanks, Sean.
Hey, not
Thank
allowed
you.
to- not allowed to
Thanks,
comment
Joe,
on
if you
the
wanted
color.
to,
So now you can actually call your meeting to order.
yeah, if you want to actually go ahead and call the meeting to order and
Okay.
get through the agenda items.
Right on time.
Oh.
7:25.
Yeah.
I was in New York.
Yeah.
No,
Apologies
Private
for
jet
being
on the
late.
Concorde.
appreciate you being able to
Eating your
sit down
fires.
here.
All right, the qualifications of the members of the commission, the staff of the commission, and any consultant used are on file with the town and are hereby made part of each and every application heard tonight. The guidelines and procedures adopted by the commission are also made part of each and every application. Each application heard tonight is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. The historic district design guidelines have been adopted by the town of Sykesville in accordance with Article 6B 8.06A of the Maryland Code and follow the recommendations of the United States Secretary of the Interior. The Sykesville Historic District Commission follows Robert's Rules of Order with the exception that the chairperson votes. All right, call to order, meeting December 18th, 7:26. Let's go through the meeting minutes from October 23rd, 2024. Have you guys had an opportunity to review those minutes?
Yes.
Is there any questions regarding those minutes?
No.
Any adjustments or modifications needed?
No.
All in favor of passing?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'll point out for the next one too, the reason they're listed as a summary is because since there was no quorum at the last meeting, it wasn't an official meeting of the HDC, so there's no official minutes, it's just a summary of the meeting, but it still does need to be voted on and approved.
And is that per the video recording that you sent?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so have you guys had opportunity to review the summary from November 20th, 2024?
Yes.
Any questions, comments, revisions?
No.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Okay, second? All right, all good. Motion carries. All right, so which ones are we going over tonight? 2024-29?
Yep, 29, 30, and 31.
Okay. For 7611 Main Street, have you guys had opportunity to review the video and the recording where we had talked about the renovations to the facade of 7611 Main Street?
Yeah, and I'll go through quickly through the staff report again for the public record. So again, we know that this is 7611 Main Street, and they've requested approval to replace the existing garage door with double storefront doors, which will match the, excuse me, I'm gonna pull up their little mock-up, which will match the existing storefront doors on the front facade of the building, and then they also wanted to build a porch landing with steps to access these new storefront doors. And the new porch landing and steps will match the materials of the existing porch that's on the same western-facing facade of that building. So this building was built in 1949. It's a non-contributing building in the historic district, and it's being rehabbed to be used for retail, office, and residential purposes. So the HGC guidelines for each requested item. The replacement of the garage doors with the double doors, the guidelines simply state that replacement doors for non-contributing buildings should be compatible with the overall character of the facade in which they are located. And then the wooden staircase and porch landing, the guidelines mention that when adding a new porch to non-contributing buildings, it should be located on a side or rear facade, which it is in this case, and be designed to be compatible with the overall character of the building. So again, HEC is just being asked to determine if these requested alterations at 7611 Main Street are appropriate, or suggest alternative actions. Considering the non-contributing status of the building, staff felt that the requested items were consistent with the guidelines and recommended approval. If we remember, last month's discussion didn't result in any major concerns or issues from the HEC members that were present regarding the requested items.
Okay. Is there any questions regarding 2024-29? Comments?
Yeah, real quick, I did watch the video. Where did it all land on what that's actually going to be used for? Because I was left confused. It seemed like it's really not the main entryway.
So this is going to become the main entryway for this middle business suite here. The main entryway for this business suite will be the front facade, which is the existing front door. So this is going to so this is going to be the main entryway for this building. This garage door will change. That'll become the main entryway for the middle business suite, and then over here will be get access to the DSC offices that they're putting in on that side.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense because it seemed like they were saying it wasn't going to become the main one. But, okay.
Yeah, in my conversations with the applicant, she clarified to me that this is the plan is to make this the main entryway, so that sort of each business has their own distinct access point and entryway and storefront that they can utilize.
Okay.
questions?
Nope.
Okay, there's a motion to approve application 2024-29.
I'll make a motion to approve application 2024-29 at 7611 Main Street to replace existing garage door and install new landing.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is discussion on 2024-30 for 7557 Main Street. This application, as you recall, well, go ahead. Why don't you just give us a staff breakdown for
Yeah, so thanks, Chad. The applicant here for 755 or 7557 Main Street, it's the house right here in between the townhouse and Beck's. They requested to repair the damaged mortar joints on the brick front porch and then install bluestone caps on the front porch steps to create a level surface and protect the underlying bricks. So this structure was built in 1932. It is a contributing building in the historic district. And then for each requested item, so the mortar repair, based on the HCC guidelines, repair to damaged mortar joints is simply considered routine maintenance and doesn't require approval from the Historic District Commission, as long as the applicants use materials that match the existing original structure, which they confirm that they would be doing. And then the bluestone caps, so HCC guidelines explain that certain modern coverings should not be applied to original porch masonry. It specifically calls out vinyl and metal coverings or parched concrete. So these would typically be materials that would cover or mask an entire porch or a large porch section. The guidelines don't explicitly mention capping the steps with a different masonry material. But during conversations with staff, the applicant did explain that none of the existing brick porch is going to be removed to accommodate the new caps, and the majority of the original brick is going to remain visible. The caps are also going to serve several practical purposes, including leveling out the steps for safety, as well as protecting and preserving the existing brick into the future. So again, HCC is being asked to determine if the bluestone cap to the existing brick steps is acceptable or offer an alternative suggestion. And given that the majority of the original brick will remain visible and with considerations to the safety and preservation components of the application, staff is comfortable with the requested modification. The discussions last month, none of the HCC members here had an issue with it, and it was suggested that they do a textured honed bluestone just to help avoid any slickness or algae buildup when it rains or gets wet. And then there was also a suggestion to cap the pillars as well, which I had a follow-up conversation with the applicant. They confirmed that they did anticipate capping the pillars as well. So this is what the current steps look like. And then this is sort of an example of what the new steps would look like. So you can see the majority of the brick is still going to be visible in that scenario.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments regarding the application?
No.
All right, you're fine. Okay, is there a motion for 2024-30 for 7557 Main Street?
I'll make a motion to approve application 2024-30 for front porch repair and modification at 7557 Main Street.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Lastly, this evening, we're going to discuss 2024-31 7546 Main Street. Signage application.
Yeah, so unfortunately the applicant could not be here this evening, but they are requesting approval for a new hanging sign for their business at 7546 Main Street. They're requested for a 29-inch wide by 36-inch high, two-sided pink sign with white lettering. It'll be made from either which is mentioned on this mock-up page here, either high-density urethane material, which would have carved lettering, or a wood panel material with vinyl graphics. The sign will hang from the existing bracket on the building, which has also been used by previous businesses that have occupied that space. So it would be where the old B-blend sign is there. The applicant did provide a diagram of the sign location, and they confirmed with me via email that the bottom of the sign will have about 8.5 feet of clearance above the sidewalk to comply with HGC guidelines. Additionally, the sign will not project more than 42 inches from the front facade and will also be set back at least 12 inches from the curb to comply with other applicable guidelines. Regarding the material, the HCC guidelines simply state that hanging signs should be constructed of wood, metal, or other appropriate materials. So with that, HCC is being asked to determine if the location, size, and materials for the requested business sign at 7546 Main Street are appropriate as presented, or offer alternative suggestions for any potential concerns. And staff would support approval of the application as presented using either of the potential materials listed. And then, as always, I included a suggested motion if HCC agrees with the assessment and if they wanted to make a recommendation between the two materials too.
Can you bring up the sign again?
So this is the mock-up that they provided. They haven't and in my conversations at that point, they hadn't decided yet if they were going to do one with the gold border or without. They did mention that they were partial towards the carved material. It would be a little bit more hardy, I guess, in there, from what they were told.
You said it's acrylic?
It says it's a high-density urethane carved material, painted pink and white.
Open for discussion.
But again, it does meet all guidelines in terms of height, location, setbacks from.
I think it's just mainly the material,
Yeah.
right? So are we comfortable with the material selected for the sign?
What's the cheaper option?
It's a wood panel with the vinyl graphics, which there are approved signs on Main Street also that have that that utilize that material as well. I believe the last sign we approved was a wood panel with vinyl graphics over top.
What are the majority of the signs down here?
I think the majority of them are the wood with the vinyl, but there are a few that are carved signs. I know the locomotive, for instance, has a carved sign. And again, they mentioned that they would prefer the carved sign in this instance, just because again, the hope is that it would last longer and be a little bit more durable to the elements.
I mean, I'm not sure how much different. We've approved, I think, foam, high density foam. I'm not sure high density urethane is different from that.
I mean, in my opinion, it's not a permanent fixture.
Yeah.
Right? So like 10 years from now, if they need to change it, they change it to something else. If it was installed.
That's why I'd go with option one if I were them, because it's $1,200 less and you can do it 6 times over.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you can also leave it up to, if HCC is comfortable with either.
Yeah, I think we're fine with either way.
Yeah, I would be fine with either.
All right, let's make a motion then. Go ahead, Brian, you want to make a motion? on
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve application 2024-31, new sign for Sorella on Main, to use either material at the applicant's discretion.
this? Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Great. Any other staff report or station site? We already did the station site plan.
So we did have the meeting schedule for 2025 that was attached to the agenda as well. So this was something that we were going to vote on this evening. So typically it's the fourth Wednesday of every month, again except for November, December, so that we don't conflict with the holidays when we get there. So following the same schedule as we had in 2024. So if everyone's comfortable with that, we can vote on approving that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just let you know, I know I won't be here the 22nd.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll let you know when you send that email out,
Sure.
but
I think we'll have some flexibility as we always do.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
hopefully if no one's jet setting.
Yeah. Carry
I
on.
got here, didn't I? There's a headwind. That cost me It's usually an hour.
All right, is there a motion to approve the 2025 schedule for the HTC meetings as shown?
I'll make a motion to approve the schedule as shown.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any other staff reports this evening?
That covers it.
Any updates on the Warfield project whatsoever, or is it still stalled, or?
Still heavily in litigation.
Any other violations or anything that we need to go over this evening that anybody's seen?
Just the same one you brought up at the end of last meeting. Try to get the state to put the stonework back.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Good luck. Get blood from the stone, Joe.
Yeah.
Keep squeezing.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion adjourned.
Thank you, gentlemen, for the flexibility. It's much appreciated.